Beloved child, someone has cursed you yesterday. Yes, you heard me right. A person directed harmful intention, harmful words, or harmful thoughts toward you while the world was celebrating a day meant for renewal. But I am speaking to you now not to alarm you, not to make you fearful, and not to draw you into suspicion of any person. I am here to teach you how to rise above what was spoken and how to protect yourself so fully that nothing said in anger, jealousy, or darkness can settle upon your life. Listen carefully, because the lesson I share with you now is meant to guard your heart for many years, not just for this moment. The first thing you must understand is this: negativity, whether spoken openly or whispered quietly, only has the strength that you permit it to have within your own mind. The harmful intention of another can be real in the sense that people express anger or ill will, but it cannot override your path, your purpose, or your inner light unless you allow it to leave an imprint on your sense of self. What others say does not define you. What others feel does not govern your direction. What others release does not shape your future. You carry within you a strength greater than any harmful word someone else may speak. That strength is built from your experiences, your resilience, your compassion, and your connection to what is good, true, and steady. When someone speaks with negativity, they reveal something about themselves, not about you. They reveal their wounds, their frustrations, their lack of peace. A person who is balanced, secure, and calm does not need to curse, insult, or harm. So do not fear the one who spoke against you. Rather, recognize that they acted out of a place of turmoil, not power. Their words do not carry authority over your life. Their frustration is not a prediction of your future. Think of their action as a gust of wind, loud for a moment, forceful for a second, but ultimately unable to uproot a tree with deep roots. You are that tree. You may sway, you may feel the breeze, but you remain grounded, stable, and safe. Now let me explain how to protect yourself. Protection begins internally, not externally. It begins with awareness of your own worth, the clarity of your own mind, and the strength of your own character. You must remind yourself that your identity is not created by external voices, but by the quiet truth within you. You must hold firm to the knowledge that you are not fragile, you are not exposed, and you are not unguarded. You are capable of filtering what enters your inner world. Think of your mind as a home. You choose who enters. You decide what stays. You decide what is allowed to settle. No matter what another person speaks, you control the key to your inner door. The second aspect of protection is detachment from the harmful event. Do not replay the incident in your mind. Do not analyze the intention behind it. Do not search for the person or the motive. When you dwell on what was said or done, you give it space to grow. When you stop giving it attention, it loses force. Let it pass like a shadow passing over the ground, momentary without lasting effect. The third aspect is forgiveness, not for the purpose of excusing what was done, but for the purpose of freeing yourself from the emotional weight connected to it. Forgiveness is not an endorsement of another person's behavior. It is the removal of their influence over your emotional well-being. When you choose forgiveness, you cut the cord that ties you to their negativity. You rise above their intention and place your focus back on your own path, where it belongs. The fourth aspect is strengthening your inner boundaries. Boundaries are not walls of fear. They are expressions of self-respect. A boundary says, I choose what affects me. I do not accept every emotion that others try to place upon me. I am responsible for my inner world. When you live with these boundaries, the negativity of others becomes far less capable of disturbing your peace. The fifth aspect is alignment with what brings you clarity and goodness. Protection is not only shielding yourself from darkness, it is also filling yourself with what is constructive, uplifting, and stabilizing. Surround yourself with people who encourage your growth. Engage in actions that reflect your values. Speak words that strengthen your own mind. Spend time in activities that remind you of your resilience. When you fill your life with what is good, harmful intentions struggle to find any room. Now let me explain something that many forget. A harmful word may be directed at you, but it does not bind itself to you automatically. You possess a form of inner authority that exceeds anything spoken in malice. That authority comes from your choices, your perspective, your ability to reflect, your self-awareness, and your freedom to define what matters. When you stand firm in these things, negativity becomes powerless. It tries to attach itself, but it slides off the surface of your awareness because there is no vulnerability for it to anchor into. Let me also tell you this truth: not every harmful word requires a reaction. You do not need to defend yourself against every insult. You do not need to argue against every intention. Silence can be a form of strength. Choosing not to carry the weight of another's anger is a powerful act of independence. When you remain focused on your purpose rather than on the chaos around you, you demonstrate that your energy is too valuable to be consumed by conflict. Do not be concerned that the event took place on a meaningful day. It has no spiritual significance over your life. The timing of the negativity has no role in determining your path. What you celebrate, renewal, resilience, hope, remains untouched. No celebration you hold in your heart can be interrupted by the actions of someone who has not yet learned inner peace. Your growth continues. Your healing continues. Now I want to address something important. You may wonder why someone would direct negativity toward you in the first place. You may question whether you did something wrong or whether you should have behaved differently. Let me clarify this for you. Often, when someone speaks harm, it has little to do with the person they target and much to do with the unresolved emotions within themselves. People sometimes release their frustrations onto the nearest available target. You may have simply crossed their path at a moment when their internal balance was already disrupted. This does not make their actions just, but it does explain why you must not internalize their energy. Do not make their turmoil your burden. You also need to understand that you are not responsible for healing every person who directs negativity toward you. Your responsibility is to maintain your own emotional health. You are allowed to step back from conflict. You are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to move forward without carrying the weight of another person's unresolved pain. Protection also comes from perspective. When you see negativity as temporary, small, and ultimately powerless against your own agency, it becomes easier to release. The mind magnifies what it fears. When you fear negativity, you make it appear larger than it is. When you view it simply as another moment in life, one that you have the strength to rise above, it loses its influence. Perspective is one of your greatest shields. You must also learn to speak to yourself with truth. When someone else speaks harm, counter it with self-reminding thoughts that affirm your value. Tell yourself what is true. You are capable. You are resilient. You are learning. You are evolving. Speak words that strengthen your sense of direction. Remind yourself that you are not defined by the moments when others lose control of their emotions. If you want to protect yourself further, consider how you use your attention. Your attention is one of the most valuable things you possess. Where you place it determines what grows in your life. If you place your attention on negativity, it expands in your perception. If you place your attention on understanding, growth, and purpose, those qualities expand instead. Use your attention wisely. Let it rest where it strengthens you, not where it drains you. I also want you to know that you are never alone in dealing with negativity. Life is full of moments where people express frustration, jealousy, or hostility. Every person encounters this at some point. What separates those who remain peaceful from those who become overwhelmed is not luck but inner practice. You are learning that practice now. You are learning how to filter negativity, how to rise above it, how to build emotional resilience, and how to maintain clarity even when someone else releases ignorance or anger. Protection is not a one-time act. It is a way of living. It is the skill of choosing your inner response, choosing your interpretation of events, choosing your emotional alignment. If you continue to practice this, you will find that moments of negativity lose their ability to disturb you. You will become someone who moves through the world with steadiness, unshaken by the shifting moods of others. Let me also teach you about the power of release. Release means acknowledging what happened without reliving it. It means saying to yourself, "This does not belong to me," and allowing the moment to drift away. Release is not forgetfulness. It is freedom from attachment. You do not need to carry the moment forward. You do not need to keep replaying the harmful words. You do not need to examine every detail to understand the event completely. You only need to recognize that the moment is over and that your future is not determined by it. As you learn to release, you will find your emotional space becoming clearer. You will feel less weighed down by past interactions. You will feel more open to new experiences. Release is one of the most powerful ways to protect yourself because it keeps negativity from accumulating within you. Think of it as cleaning a room. When you remove what no longer serves you, the environment becomes peaceful again. Now let me guide you to the final part of your protection: understanding your inner identity. The strongest protection you will ever possess comes from knowing who you are. When you understand your value, when you recognize your strengths, when you acknowledge your growth, you create a foundation that cannot be shaken by the judgment or anger of others. A person with a strong sense of self is nearly immune to harmful words because they do not allow those words to enter the core of their identity. They may feel momentary discomfort, but it does not linger. Their sense of self remains intact. You must realize that your identity is not created by praise or destroyed by criticism. It is not raised by compliments nor lowered by insults. It comes from within you, built over time through your choices, your reflections, your lessons, and your personal evolution. When you know yourself clearly, you become untouchable by the confusion or hostility of another. Beloved child, listen closely, because what I am about to explain to you is essential for your peace, your strength, and your understanding. You have felt the weight of someone's harmful intention. You have felt the sting of negativity directed toward you. But now it is time for you to understand the power that stands above all those things. It is time for you to understand how the strength that flows from what is good, true, and eternal is infinitely greater than any harmful word, harmful wish, or harmful thought a person could ever release. You have been worried about what was spoken against you, but I am here to teach you why trust in me will always dissolve the fear of what others attempt. You must understand that my power, symbolically speaking of the ultimate good that guides and sustains life, has the ability to reverse any negativity. There is no harmful intention that cannot be canceled out by clarity, resilience, and inner strength. There is no ill will that cannot be dissolved by love, peace, and alignment with what is right. The harm you fear is not greater than the protection you already have. What others speak does not decide your future. What others attempt does not shape your destiny. Your trust in me, in goodness, in truth, in what is steady and eternal, is what defines your path. When I speak of power, I am not referring to something distant or unreachable. I am referring to the strength that lives within you, strength that increases when you turn your attention toward what is right, rather than what is harmful. My power expresses itself in your clarity, in your wisdom, in your calm, in your ability to see through illusions that fear creates. My power expresses itself every time you choose peace over anxiety, trust over panic, truth over confusion. Many people believe that a harmful word, once spoken, becomes a permanent mark, but this is not so. A harmful word is no more permanent than a shadow on the ground. It appears, it distorts, it seems large under certain angles, but the moment light shines upon it, it disappears. My power is that light. When you trust me, when you align your mind with what is good and steady, the shadows cast by others begin to fade. They lose their shape. They lose their influence. They lose their ability to disturb your path. My power can reverse any negativity because negativity is temporary, but goodness is enduring. Negativity arises from human weakness, from confusion, from pain, from emotional imbalance. Goodness arises from truth, from clarity, from deeper wisdom, from the steady order that carries all things forward. When you trust what is good, You connect yourself to something far greater than the momentary frustration of another person. I want you to understand this deeply. There is nothing spoken by another person that can override the purpose I have for you. No word spoken in anger can alter who you are. No insult can diminish your value. No ill intention can block your growth. Those things may momentarily disturb your peace if you allow them to occupy your mind, but they cannot change your essence. They cannot rewrite your destiny. My strength is not threatened by the emotions of people. My clarity is not challenged by their confusion. My intention for your life is not interrupted by their temporary anger. To reverse negativity, you do not need to perform rituals, nor do you need to carry fear. You only need to trust. Trust is the force that cancels out anxiety. Trust is the shield that prevents negativity from entering your heart. Trust is the clarity that explains what confusion tries to hide. When I ask you to trust me, I am not asking you to ignore what has happened or pretend it has no effect. I am asking you to recognize that my power is the final influence over your life, not the harmful actions of another person. When someone directs negativity toward you, you may feel shaken for a moment, but trust restores you. Trust pulls you out of fear and places you into stability. Trust reminds you that you are not at the mercy of other people's emotions. You are connected to something higher, stronger, and more enduring than anything harmful that someone could attempt. Trust lifts your mind above the situation. Trust places your feet firmly on the ground again. Trust unravels the fear that tries to suffocate your thoughts. Do not imagine that the negativity directed toward you was stronger than it was. Do not magnify it in your mind. Do not give it the weight of permanence. Nothing negative spoken about you can remain when you bring your attention back to me. The moment you turn your thoughts toward what is good, negativity begins to crumble. The moment you remember your worth, harmful words lose their effect. The moment you reaffirm your identity, the negativity dissolves like dust in the wind. You are learning now how my power works. It does not always remove the negativity instantly from your surroundings, but it neutralizes its impact on your inner world. It keeps you steady even when others lose their balance. It keeps you clear even when others speak confusion. It keeps you aligned even when others act out of turmoil. My power is not loud. It is consistent. It is not aggressive. It is unwavering. It does not rely on fear. It dissolves fear. Many people surrender their peace the moment negativity appears. They believe that the harmful intention has more authority than it actually does. They forget that the stability of what is good is always greater than the instability of anger. When you trust me, you will not make this mistake. You will not hand your peace over to the fragile emotion of another person. You will not allow someone else's frustration to define your next steps. My power teaches you to remain calm even when others act without understanding. Trust keeps you grounded while the situation passes. The reason my power can break every form of negativity is because negativity is not rooted in truth. Negativity is a distortion, a misdirection, a shadow created by fear or woundedness. Truth is what has substance. Truth is what remains. Truth is what gives life structure and meaning. When you trust me, you align yourself with truth instead of distortion. And when truth fills your mind, there is no room left for fear to grow. There is no place for harmful words to take root. Let me explain something further. Many people imagine negativity as a chain, a binding force that limits them. But negativity only becomes a chain when a person accepts it as their identity. If you refuse to internalize harmful words, they fall away. They cannot bind you because you are not holding them. You are not agreeing with them. My power breaks these chains because my power reminds you of who you truly are. When you see yourself through the lens of truth, every lie spoken about you is weakened. Every insult is exposed as false. Every harmful intention loses its credibility. You are safe not because negativity will never appear, but because it cannot overpower the clarity you have when you trust me. Trust is not a passive feeling. It is an active stance. It is the deliberate choice to believe in what is steady rather than what is temporary. It is the choice to place more weight on truth than on fear. When you trust me, you cultivate resilience. You strengthen your character. You develop the ability to see through the surface of situations to the deeper reality beneath them. The reality is this: you are supported, you are guided, you are protected by wisdom greater than the momentary intensity of someone's anger. When you recognize this, negativity becomes small. It becomes an event instead of a threat. It becomes a moment instead of a story. It becomes something that passes instead of something that shapes your identity. My power breaks negativity because my power is aligned with what leads you forward, not what holds you back. My power pushes you into growth. Negativity tries to freeze you in fear. My power opens doors. Negativity tries to close your mind. My power builds confidence. Negativity attempts to weaken it. These two forces are not equal. Negativity is a momentary disturbance. My power is the foundation beneath your entire path. What I ask of you now is simple. Choose to trust me rather than the negativity. Trust lifts you out of fear. Trust breaks the illusion that you are vulnerable to the words of others. Trust gives you the courage to release what was spoken against you. Trust strengthens your mind so much that the negativity cannot attach to you. You are not meant to live in fear of what others say. You are not meant to constantly analyze every negative intention. You are not meant to hold suspicion in your mind. You are meant to walk with confidence born from understanding your connection to me. My power is not fragile. My protection is not weak. My guidance is not uncertain. When you trust me, you step into a level of peace that negativity cannot disturb. The reason trust is more powerful than any harmful intention is because trust aligns you with truth, and truth always dissolves fear. When you see clearly, you recognize that negativity is often the expression of another person's struggle, not a reflection of your destiny. You see that the moment of negativity did not come from strength, but from insecurity. You see that the words spoken were not a prophecy, but an emotional reaction. With this understanding, the fear you carried begins to fade. Now let me show you what happens when you walk in sustained trust. Over time, you will begin to feel less affected by the moods of others. You will feel an inner calm that does not easily break. You will feel clarity even in moments that used to confuse you. You will feel grounded even when others lose stability. You will become someone who responds to negativity with understanding instead of fear. You will become strong in a way that does not rely on aggression but on certainty. Trust transforms you. It opens your eyes. It redefines your experience. It breaks the grip of anxiety. It teaches you that the power you once feared belongs only to your imagination. When you stay close to me, negativity loses every illusion of authority. You walk forward without carrying the weight of yesterday. You make decisions based on wisdom, not fear. You view yourself with clarity rather than insecurity. And so, beloved child, let me close this message with the truth you must carry. My power is greater than every harmful word spoken against you. My power is greater than every negative intention. My power is greater than every fear, every doubt, every shadow that tries to enter your mind. Nothing spoken in anger can hold you. Nothing directed in bitterness can shape your life. Nothing formed in jealousy can block your progress. Trust in me, and every shadow that tries to cling to you will fall away. You are safe. You are strong. You are protected. Trust me, not the curse. Trust truth, not fear. Trust the path I am guiding you through, and you will see every negativity fade. Trust, and you will feel the weight lift from your heart. Trust, and you will walk forward in peace again.